man, who's that cat coming down the street?
I don't know, but it sounds to me like that whipping man with the bone.
Sure has himself a ball.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Diebold. Welcome to the 2023-24 Northview Basketball OK White Conference preseason preview show. We'll take a look at the teams around the OK White, Northview's non-league schedule, and some tournament showcase games. I'll preview the top players in the OK White and talk about some rule changes in the upcoming season. Also have a Coach David Chana and E.J. Ryan's interview talking about the upcoming season and this talented squad this year at Northview. And I'll break it all down for you on this 2023-24 OK White preseason show coming up right after a couple sponsor commercials. We'll be right back. For all your home improvement services, check out Northview grads Greg and Darcy Tool at toolconstruction.com or their Tool Construction Facebook page. You can call them at 616-443-2284. Greg is a licensed and insured builder and has owned the business for 15 years. Call them today for a free estimate. LVC Financial. Call former Northview grad Ryan Vanderswart and his team at LVZ Financial at 616-394-4994 for all your financial planning needs. LVZ has a hometown atmosphere with the horsepower of a larger firm. Call Ryan for his 25 years of experience or his team today for all your financial planning needs at 616-394-4994. And thank you for your support of Northview Athletics.
Hey man, who's that cat coming down the street?
I don't know, but it sounds to me like that whipping man with the bone.
Sure has himself
Let's
a ball.
talk about the tough OK White League this year, as four teams, I believe, are going to be battling it out. Four really good, probably going to be state-rated teams throughout the year, starting with Northview, the back-to-back champs of the OK White, looking for a three-peat. Grand Rapids Christian will be very good. Byron Center, as well as Forest Hills Central. I think those four teams will be the top four teams in the area. Other people think so. Also on social media, some of the area writers giving their predictions. And then you have teams like Forest Hills Northern will be better this year, as well as Greenville. Greenville just had a 25-point win over Kenowa Hills, Northview's third opponent this season. So Greenville much improved. They got what used to be young players are now turning into juniors and seniors, very expensive, and they have some good players. And then East Grand Rapids and Lowell. Remember last year Lowell upset Northview. So on any given night, you got to come to play, as we're going to have some Coach Chana interview, and he talked a little bit about that, and we'll have that interview coming up for you. But first of all, let's take a look at some Northview, some of the top players. Not going to go through every player, but some of the top players. Northview will have the Ryans brothers, EJ, a Western Michigan University commit. He's a senior, 4-year varsity player for Northview. Not too many of those come through Northview, only a handful. And then Cam, his brother, a sophomore, is getting some looks from Division I schools. Brady Swartz, a junior. He had a visit to Toledo, a Division II school. A lot of interest in the GLIAC early on here for the junior Brady Swartz. You might remember his brother Parker Swartz, who moved on and is playing in college. But Brady, a junior. Northview, again, two-time defending champion, looking to three-peat. And Coach David Chana had back-to-back titles. A coach has never won a three-peat. Northview has had a three-peat in the 84, 85, 86 season. 84 and 85 was Jim Ogilvie was the coach, and then Dwight Anderson was the coach after that. So two different coaches. So no coach has ever had a three-peat in Northview history, but Northview has had a three-peat, 84 through 86. Grand Rapids Christian is going to be very good. Jalen Owinguff, 6'9" senior, Toledo commit. Nate Johnson, 6'8" senior, Division I looks, a lot of MAC offers. Malachi Hooser, a senior. Carter Gooddyke, a senior. Tyler Davis, a junior. And we'll talk about this in a little bit. They're due for a championship, Grand Rapids Christian. A lot of talent, have not won the conference lately for Coach Eric Taylor. So they will be hungry and looking to get a title for Grand Rapids Christian. Byron Center has been playing young kids for the last 2-3 years. They're all now getting to up juniors and seniors, and they got a lot of experience. One of the bigger teams in the area. Camden Carroll, 6'9" junior, 3-year player for him. A lot of MAC schools interested in him. Ben Hegel, a senior, big post guy. He's got a Kelvin University offer. Jaden J.J. Brock, a good athlete, dunker. There's some athleticism. Hegel and Brock J.J. Brock can really get up, dunk the basketball. J.J. Aquinas commit. Isaac Lee, a 3-year player. He's a junior now. And then their point guard, Connor Ferguson. So very veteran team, big, physical, a lot of experience, and kind of like what Northview was 2 years ago under head coach Joe Rodriguez. And then you have Forest Hill Central, Jonas Vanderwood, a senior, 3-year player for Forest Hill Central. Ty Hudkins off a state title football team, big physical player. Division I football commit at Purdue. Brady Miller, a nice point guard, senior, 6'2", tall point guard. Coach Jordan George, new, a Forest Hill Central grad and player for Forest Hill Central, will be taking over the reins for Kyle Carthart. He was the JV coach last year, Jordan was. Forest Hill's an experienced team. And Brendan Cargill, another football player. So you can't sleep on Forest Hill Central. They'll be in the thick of things. Football state champs, they bring that physical toughness. And we'll see how the first-year coach, Jordan George, son of Ken George, longtime coach at Forest Hill Central, see how he does in his first year. So those four teams are tough, going to be a dogfight. And then next, in my opinion, right there, Forest Hills Northern, Kyle Brown, a sophomore, Justin St. Antoine, a junior. Got some new talent. Coach Souls doing a nice job always. We'll talk about Forest Hills Northern, Forest Hills Central, and Northview. In the last 9 years, those three schools each have 3 league championships. So we'll see if Grand Rapids Christian can get a possible league championship, or Byron Center are going to be fighting for one. Those schools haven't won one in a while. It's been off the Forest Hills schools, Northern and Central, and Northview in the last 9 years. And these last 3 teams can upset anybody on any given night. Greenville just had a nice outing Tuesday. Trevor Zamaron, it's a senior, 4-year varsity player. Ben Hutchinson, Braylon Haste, a junior. Coach Joel Visser is getting it going with those guys as they beat Kennewa Hills by 25 points the other night. East Grand Rapids, Tommy Cavanaugh, senior. Got Will T. Winkle, a senior. Carson Thornton's a junior. Jacob Kraus, a senior. Coach Derek Owens, senior, will be heading that group up, and they can, if you don't play well, they can beat you. And Lowell, Ben Gaskin, Northview knows all about Ben Gaskin, a senior. Jason Reisbig, a senior. Coach Brian Powell will have the Lowell Red Arrows. So it's going to be a gauntlet here in the OK White. And some of the better teams in the area, some of the social media people put some teams out who they think, and kind of doing the ratings, combining them. It looks like Muskegon, one of the better teams in the area. East Kentwood with Ja Hatchett. Catholic Central, Northview's second opponent of the year, is going to be up there. Grand Rapids Christian, South Christian, Northview, Byron Center, Hudsonville, Zeeland West, and Rockford. So of those 10, 5 of those teams, Northview could be seeing Rockford possibly in a district. Catholic Central they'll be playing. Grand Rapids Christian obviously twice. and Byron Center twice. So a lot of those top teams, the Wildcats will be seeing. So when we come back, we'll take a look at Northview's schedule right after these sponsor commercials. We'll be right back. For all your heating and cooling needs, call Jarash Heating and Cooling at 616-647-0084. Dave and Ryan Jarash have owned this local business for 40 years. Give Jarash Heating a call today at 616-647-0084. Frames Unlimited with many locations, the nearest on Plainfield. Northview grad Kyle Zimdar and longtime Northview supporter Bill Zimdar will provide you with the quality work for all your picture framing needs. Check out their website at framesunlimited.com or call their Grand Rapids North store on Plainfield at 616-364-9529. Frames Unlimited. Let's take a look at the Wildcats schedule this year. Again, Coach Chana always has a tough non-league schedule. Obviously, you play everybody in the OK White twice. And the non-league schedule we'll talk about here. First of all, Muskegon Heights tomorrow. We'll have that basketball game for you. We'll be on air about 6:50 or so, right in that area. We'll have the pregame show for you. Kennewa Hills will be another game on December 15th on a Friday. And then some showcases. The first one, Catholic Central, will be with Darrell Brooks, a U of M commit. He'll be joining Kobe Buffkin, Grand Rapids Christian player, also playing for the Wolverines. But Catholic Central at the Invite at Kelvin University versus Northview. And that'll be a good one. Two of the better teams in the area, some of the better players in the area, Darrell Brooks, EJ, and Cam Ryans going at it, and that will be an outstanding basketball game. Northview has Detroit Catholic Central in the Motor City Roundball Classic. It's the oldest classic in the state of Michigan. That'll be at Ferndale High School in late December. Also the MLK Classic in February at Ottawa Hills versus Detroit Henry Ford, a Detroit Public School League team. Got to Get It Hoop Classic at East Kentwood versus Detroit Martin Luther King out of the Detroit Public School League North. And then they'll be in another showcase, the 2K24 showcase at Aquinas College. They'll be playing Northview North Farmington, an Oakland County Conference team. And Ann Arbor Huron out of the Southeastern Conference. Districts this year is at Forest Hills Northern, possible rematch with Rockford. Forest Hills Central will be in there. Great basketball and a tough slate for this mix of veterans with young talent. Fun to watch the growth against this very tough competition this year. Cats looking for a three-peat, second time in school history, but some other talented deep teams will have a say about what's coming up this season. Right after these commercials, we're going to have an interview with head coach David Chana of the Northview Wildcats. Be right back. 616-591-3139 for all your computing needs. They specialize in business IT, consulting, and security, as well as managed IT solutions. Team IT. For all your home improvement services, check out Northview grads Greg and Darcy Tool at toolconstruction.com or their Tool Construction Facebook page. You can call them at 616-443-2284. Greg is a licensed and insured builder and has owned the business for 15 years. Call them today for a free estimate. And I'm back. Mike Diebold doing the preseason show for you this evening. Coach David Chan is in his fifth year at Northview, 65-22, second best winning percentage as a coach at Northview, fourth most career wins. He needs 13 wins to catch me at third I had 77 wins in the 5 seasons. Trevor Chalmers is second with 103 wins in 8 seasons. Coach Mike Kapuchka, 155 wins, the most in Northview history in his 12 seasons as a head coach at Northview. Earlier this week, I had a chance to speak with head coach David Chana about this upcoming season. Thought you might hear his thoughts. Coach David Chana of the Northview Wildcats in his 5th season here at Northview already. And let's take a look at this year's team for you, Coach. You have 3 experienced players coming back, probable all-conference players, the Ryans brothers, and Brady Swartz coming back. Talk about those 3 core players for you.
Yeah, so with those 3 guys, we've got a ton of experience kind of built in just from, our season last year. Cam, he's a sophomore, but he's played in some pretty high-stress games, especially last year as a freshman. So, we're excited to see his growth and where he goes. As far as Brady, I think he's kind of made the biggest jump of all of our kids through the summer, just athletically scoring the basketball and, most importantly for us, the way he defends. And then I guess the head of the snake over here is EJ, who's been kind of a staple of our program for the past 3 years, now 4 years. So, you're always more comfortable when EJ's on the floor with really anything that we do. So, we're excited to bring those guys back. They bring a lot of experience, and they make it a little easier for us as coaches. And then we sprinkle in some younger guys around them too. So it's going to be an interesting year. We got a lot of teaching, a lot of room for growth, but I think we're all excited over here of the possibilities.
All right, after those 3 core players, you got a lot of young, inexperienced talent coming up. Who might get into that starting role? Who might be some of those 2 other players to get in that starting role for your 3 core players?
Well, right now we have Izzy Abitu, who is a freshman for us. He's a 6'4", athletic kid. He'll remind you a lot of Tyron Thomas is my best comparison for the guys that haven't seen him play yet. And then we have another sophomore. His name's Jack Emporian. Big, strong kid. They'll be helping us out, especially on the interior.
All right, now lately, last few years, you haven't gone real deep into your bench. You kind of like to play 7, maybe 8 guys a game. Do you think this year that might change a little bit with all the new players, maybe getting more people, or do you think you're going to stay with that 7, 8-man rotation? And if so, who are going to be some of those key players coming off the bench for you?
Yeah, I think, a couple names to watch out for sure. Junior Jake Johnson, athletically, he's doing some really good things for us. And, he's starting to understand the speed of the game, things of that nature. Then we have another freshman. His name's Anthony Willis, who will be with us. He's more of a point guard and a scorer as well. So we're excited about his growth and to see them, what they can do this year. So, as far as how deep we go, I have no idea, Coach. We'll find out what happens.
That's up to the players, right?
Yeah,
how deep you go.
Exactly. Yes, I don't foresee many breaks for EJ Ryans this year, so there's that.
All right, this is going to be another gauntlet. You always schedule non-league showcase games and tournaments that have some of the top talent in the state and even out of the state. You've always believed in that, scheduling tough non-conference schedule. But let's talk about this gauntlet in the OK White this year. I think as deep as it's ever been with some quality state-rated teams at the top. I think, obviously defending 2-time champion Northview right up there, Grand Rapids Christian, as well as Byron Center is going to be really good this year. Talk about those couple teams.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of our coaches, Coach Anima, and he mentioned yesterday, it feels like, like high school basketball in Michigan is back. Everybody's got dudes on their team. There's D1 guys everywhere, and especially in our league, before we even get into the other teams, being back-to-back conference champions puts a nice big target on your back. And, we can feel it. We walk into a gym, everybody wants a piece of Northview. And we're here for it. We're ready for it. That being said, in our league, we got Grand Rapids Christian, who returns their whole team pretty much from last year. We beat them twice. They've got Jalen Awenga, who's a Division I post player, and he is the real deal, and as good of a kid as there is. And on top of that, they have Nate Johnson, Division II player out there. and a bunch of really, really good, long, athletic wings to put around those guys. You go down the list, and then next up we got Byron Center, who has a Division I post player, and then two other highly athletic post players behind them. Same thing with them. They returned pretty much everybody from their cast last year. They want a piece of us as well. So let's keep going. Forest Hill Central. I think Forest Hill Central is going to be one of the better teams in the area. Not a lot of people are talking about them, but they return some really good kids. Obviously they just won the state championship in football, so give them a month or two, and I would say by the end of it, they're going to be a tough team to beat. So as I look at it, I think the OK White is one of the harder conferences in West Michigan, and I would argue in the state.
Yeah, and also in the white, you got some of those teams like you faced last year and got upset at your place by Lowell. There's sneaky teams like a Lowell and East Grand Rapids. Greenville, I think, is going to be much better than what they have been in the past. And you got to bring it every single night, or you look up and you're going to be a couple points shy, like what happened last year.
Yep, that's exactly the truth right there. It's going to be an interesting year to see just kind of how things, play out for us as a program. I'm excited for it, though. I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not. It's always good to just every night you show up and you got ready to compete.
And when you talk about ready to compete early, you got a tough matchup against a Muskegon Heights team, and also the second game of the season, one of the better teams in the area, Catholic Central. Talk about a Division I prospect, someone going to Michigan, in Fat, and in the showcase at Kelvin, and so it starts early for you.
Yeah, it does. We got our first home game, Muskegon Heights, this Friday, and then we go play in a shot clock game against Grand Rapids Catholic, and then it just expands from there. We play Detroit Catholic, Ann Arbor Huron, who's got a high major kid. It's going to be a gauntlet of a season for us, but that's kind of what we built our program on, is just, hey, we're not running from anybody. We're here. We'll play the biggest, the baddest on any night, anywhere, and we're going to stick to that. That's just who we are.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thanks a ton, Coach. I did want to mention, too, I saw the passing of, Coach Ken Clemens.
Yes.
It's been a long time, Northview basketball coach. And it's guys like him and you that have kind of paved the way for us. And, I just wanted to say, our condolences here, because I know that you were close with him as well. But that being said, too, we appreciate you guys. I think a lot of people don't know how much you actually do counsel me throughout the season and keep me from driving off a bridge at times. But we appreciate you, Coach, and we appreciate coaches like Ken Clemens that have made this much easier for guys like me to kind of excel here. So thank you for that.
Appreciate that, Coach. Well said. And we will see you on Friday.
All right, Coach. See you Friday.
Yep. Take care.
Yep. Bye.
And that was head coach David Chan of the Northview Wildcats. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a new rule this year in high school basketball. We'll talk about that new rule and how that's going to affect the game coming up right after these sponsorships. Northview would like to recognize their sponsors for their continued support. The Score Restaurant, Mike Marsman of Treadstone Mortgage, Ken Jansen of Lake Michigan Credit Union, Michelle Berger of Berger Realty, Brandy Block of Greenridge Realty, Lake Michigan Credit Union, Angela Davis Brown Salon, Cutting Edge Builders, Tool Construction, Quality Express Car Care Center, Lindy Tanis of Tanis Home GR, Legend Signs, Flo's Pizza, Jones Construction, Christian Koff Fundraising, Plume Service Company, Shannon Swartz of Pierpoint Mortgage, Woodland Airstream, Straight Line Fence, Real Food Cafe, AIC Insurance Services, Off Flow Plumbing, Bohr Insurance Agency, Applebee's. Thank you for your sponsorship of Northview Athletics, and as always, go Wildcats! Mike Diebold back here with you at our preseason show. Going to talk a little bit about the new rule, kind of a big one. No 1-and-1s anymore in high school basketball in the state of Michigan. It's going to be fifth foul each quarter. So they'll be keeping the track of the fouls each quarter, not in the half. It used to be once you got 7 team fouls, and then you'd shoot 1 and 1 until the 10th team foul. Then you'd go shoot 2. Well, this year it's going to be in the start of each quarter. Once you hit that 5th foul, there will be no 1 and 1s, so you'll be shooting 2. And talked a little bit about that new situation with the game this year with Coach Chan and tomorrow's interview that we have with the Muskegon Heights and that pregame show. But, some quick thoughts about it. I did Davenport girls basketball with Ken Clemens, and they have 5 fouls in the girls programs at each quarter. And the reasoning for it, what they said, the high school MHSAA was talking about trying to clean up rebounding, and they want to make it so we're not as physical inside. One of the reasons behind that rule change. But I think the first thing that jumps out to me, what might happen is late game situations. Usually if you have a 7, 8, 9-point lead, 3.5, 4 minutes left in the basketball game, you kind of take the air out of the ball, limit the possessions. And then when you have, bonuses that you have to shoot, if you're not at 10 team fouls the way it used to be, and you have to go shoot 1 and 1s for those first 3 free throws, that's pressure packed, and teams can come back a little better on you. Now with shooting 2, obviously, you got to get to that 5th foul. But with them shooting 2, there's not near as much pressure on the free throw shooter. It might, have some people that sometimes you take poor free throw shooters off the floor. Probably still going to be the case, but you might be able to keep that big rebounder in there a little bit longer with the ability to shoot 2 free throws. So we'll see how that plays out. But it is a big change, and so it's new for our listeners here, so I thought I'd throw that one out to you in case you see that coming up in the ball games. Right now I'm going to play an E.J. Ryan's interview, one of the better players, not only at Northview, but in the area, but in the state. E.J., a 4-year returning varsity player for Northview, and I had a chance to talk to him earlier this week over the phone, and he was gracious enough to do an interview for me. Thought you might like to hear his comments. E.J. Ryans. I am here with E.J. Ryans, the senior point guard at Northview, a 4-year starter. Only a few players can say that at Northview. First, let's congratulations on your commitment to Western Michigan University, a Division I school out of the MAC. What's it like to get that decision out of your way before you have your season?
Appreciate it, first of all. It really takes a lot off of my shoulders. I'm just playing really, free right now. I'm just trying to win, not looking for scholarships or anything like that, or having to try and play your best in front of coaches is really, takes a lot of our shoulders, not knowing where you're already going. It's just, you're playing, carefree and trying to win.
So I know that choosing Western, I read an article where you said one of the big reasons why you chose there, because you had offers from a lot of places, that you chose there because they wanted you the most of anybody. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. They were calling me after a lot of games. Even games I felt like I played bad, they were telling me I played good in certain areas still. They were just telling me, keep my head up, They were giving me advice along the way. Just stuff like that. I just felt like it was really I need to go be coached by these guys,
All right. So you've been part of back-to-back titles, a Final Four run at Northview. First player in Northview history to do that. No other player in Northview history has back-to-back league championships and a Final Four run. And you're only one of 4 Northview grads to play Division I basketball, and you'll do that next year. Let that sink in a little bit. Your thoughts on your experience at Northview so far?
Man, it's kind of crazy to think I'm one of 4. So little people do that. And I don't know. I just when I look back on it, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym, and it all paid off. The work's not done. I gotta get there and still keep it up. But I'm just like really proud of the work I put in, to get to that level.
And so, I said one of four players, and two of those players were 1-year players for Northview. They came their senior years from another school. One was an exchange student, Sasha Hoopman, and then Donnie Tyndall came his senior year. But only you and Kyler Vanderjack played for Northview 4 years and then went on to play Division I ball. So rarefied air right there. Let's talk about your efforts now to three-peat. No player in Northview history has ever had a three-peat. There were some teams in the 80s that had a three-peat, but two different coaches, but only no player has been able to three-peat. They've two-peated. So you're kind of in rarefied air right there, but it's not going to be easy. Talk about the OK White this year. Grand Rapids Christian, Byron Center, Forest Hill Central, Northview, all going to be fighting it out in the OK White.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. Christian got a lot of guys on the team. Two of them are my teammates, AAU, Nate Johnson and Jalen Nowinga. They're both really good, ball players that both can do, shoot three, drive. Jalen can post up and rebound like any other player I've seen. So, it's definitely going to be tough with them at Byron Center. They got a solid group. They've all been playing together for a long time. I think that group has been together for the last 2 years, I think. So that's definitely going to be a challenge, especially with our young guys and their experience. But I think at the end of the day, we can do it. It's just down to the preparation. We do practice, coming every day. Just getting it down, every little detail when we get into practice.
All right, I know you don't like to talk about yourself. You're very unselfish, but I'm going to describe you as a player, and I want to see what your thoughts are here. Watching you for, the 3 years broadcasting your games, you're a very unselfish player. You're all about the team. You're the quarterback of the team, the point guard. You run the show. Now, you averaged 8 points per game, then 11 points per game, 10 points per game last year. You could do a lot more, but you've had the ability to be able to play with great players like Jalen Charity and Kyler Vanderjack and Grant George, some three-point shooters, and Parker Swartz. You've had some good three-point shooters, and now it'll be Brady. So you're able to penetrate and do a lot of dishing to some of these other scorers. Now I think this year might be a little different for you, where you might be asked to score a little bit more, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely got to kind of do it all this year. That's what we've been doing in practice. I think I can do it, Coach Chana has been really on it about me being able to pass at the right time and score at the right time, and basically give me the keys, kind of, But I think I'll be able to, switch the role a little bit and still be able to, get everyone involved.
Yeah, obviously your brother Cam will be getting involved, but you're really good in late game situations. Your calmness, your ball handling skills, you got really good handles. Sometimes you get double, triple teamed late in games where you're breaking people down. But now you'll probably be getting fouled, going to the free throw line, hitting those late free throws late in games, and you're calm and poised down the stretch. You're going to pay dividends. So you're going to pick some scoring up that way this year as well, especially with the new rule where 5 fouls, you're shooting 2. So ball in your hands late in games, you'll probably be shooting a lot of free throws late in games, I'm guessing. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, we definitely trying to get downhill more, trying to get fouled. I think the new rules definitely good for us, especially because we're a team that likes to drive the ball a lot and, get fouled. Especially, I think it'll help Cam a lot. He likes to, get down the post, get double teamed sometimes. He can kick it out. So I think it'll definitely help us in the long run. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this year's team. Obviously, you know a lot about your brother Cam. Talk about what he brings to the team, and more importantly, What's it been like to be able to play with your brother for a couple years on the same floor?
And he brings a lot every single day. You know, he's coming in being competitive. I don't think there's a day where he ever steps off the gas. He's always like at 100 in practice. And, you know, he's definitely taking a stretch in his game. I think maybe able to play inside and out as a guard, not so much as just a post player. Taking that stretch in his game definitely helps. And then, what was the other question again?
Well, let's just talk a little bit about Brady Swartz here. Brady not played last year as a sophomore. Coach has thought that he has really done a nice job in the offseason. So, with Cam and you and Brady, three-headed monsters, I've always said you got three really good basketball players. You can do some damage. Talk about Brady Swartz and his abilities.
Yeah, Brady, man, I remember one practice, he came, someone shot a three-pointer, and his head was almost at the rim, catching the putback dunk, and that just, like, woke us all up. Like, he's, like, taking a big jump in his game, being able to score the ball anytime he wants. He wants to drive, knock it out of shots, so far range. And then also his defense is taking a long range, getting it past the lanes, staying in front of his man and rebounding. I think definitely those two have definitely put the work in this offseason. I think it's definitely going to show during the season.
Now you three experienced players. You're now surrounded by some inexperienced players. A lot of young talent on this team. Who are maybe two or three players that the Northview fans don't know about that you think will make an impact this year?
I think Izzy. He's kind of our 5 this year. I think he's definitely going to make an impact. His defense is crazy. I've never seen it. He never backs down from challenge. He's always, right up in someone. And I think it's just like Tyron Thomas. He was gone. He's gone, graduated, but I think we just have him again this year because he's almost like the exact same player. Got that edge on him. Always, it's kind of like the Dennis Rodman of our team. Like we always have one of those. I think he's definitely that player this year. We got Anthony Willis. I'm kind of taking him under my wing, making sure he knows how to run a point guard spot, especially for when I leave. I think he's got handles, shifty player, tough. I think he's definitely going to make a big stretch this year, surprise a lot of people. And then Jack Van Pruin, another type of down and gritty kids, always working hard, smart on the floor. I think those 3 players are definitely going to help us out this year.
All right, now you're going to be one of the better players to come out of Northview. And talk about some of the influences in your life to get there. It just doesn't happen. Obviously, you put the time and effort into making yourself into a good player, hours in the gym and watching film and going to camps. But there's also influences on people's lives that help you get there, whether it's the time or the money spent on camps and all these AAU things. It's not cheap. Who are some of your influences in your life that help you get to where you are today?
I think my mom is definitely one of them. Always bringing me tournaments, the tournaments are far not cheap. I went to California and Arizona this year. Those are just some of the places, but that stuff is not cheap. And she was at every single one of them, supported me. And I think without that support, that constant support, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then Coach Channa, taking a chance on me once I came in here as a freshman. It's been ever since day one. He was always had faith in me. And, even when days where I didn't have faith in myself, he still had faith in me and always was there along the way, opening the gym for me and making sure I'm eating right, getting workouts in, all that type of stuff. And I don't know. I think a lot of the Northview community has just always been behind me. I think the constant support I've always had when I walked into school, always to make it the teachers will look out for me sometimes, make sure I have my grades right. Marsman will make sure I'm all right. Getting in the gym. It's just stuff like that where I've always had the support of Northview as a whole. And I think without like Northview as a whole, I wouldn't be anywhere where I am right now.
All right, let's talk a little bit about little bro Cam. I'm sure he obviously an influence in your life. If not just for, I'm sure you guys have had some battles one-on-one together in the driveway.
Yeah. Yeah, we have. Man, we always get into arguments when we play one-on-one. I don't think there's ever a time where we haven't gotten into an argument. You know, it's usually about a foul call or something. And I'm usually always right, but he don't ever want to admit that. But yeah, this constant, battle between each other. I think that's what really made each other like really good. Always competitive. One of us are going to want to go to the gym. We'll drag the other one with us. One of us don't want to go. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna go without you. Now you're feeling like, well, no, I gotta go because I don't want him to get the edge over me, or like some stuff like that. It is constantly having someone that's with you all the way along helps you get better every single day, and definitely keeping each other in check during practices, making sure we're holding each other accountable, even though when we don't want to hear from each other, we both know when we're right and wrong, and, I think that part is very, important, especially as brothers.
Yeah, you'll look back at this time as being special years from now. EJ, it has been a pleasure watching you play and calling your games for these past 4 years. Looking forward to this year and you following your college dreams and watching you, in college. Enjoy the ride, my friend, and good luck this season.
I will. Appreciate it.
EJ Ryans, senior point guard for the Northview Wildcats. I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsors here for being able to do these ball games. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you as many games as we do. Did some football games this season, and now, as always, looking forward to the basketball season. Tool Construction, Darcy and Greg Tool, much appreciated. LVZ Financial, Ryan Vanderswart, almost all these people are Northview graduates. Frames Unlimited, Kyle Zimdar. Kyle will be calling the game with me tomorrow, Muskegon Heights. Frames Unlimited, he's the president there, and much appreciated, Kyle. Jarash Heating and Cooling. Ryan Jarash has been with me since the very beginning. He has been the sponsor who has been here every year for us, Jarash Heating and Cooling. And Team IT, Sam and Brady, you can call them. And if any of your computer needs. And then New Beginnings Restaurant, Cody Keikos, right down there on the Beltline as Plainfield meets the Beltline, kind of across from the Score restaurant. Great food. And he's the cook, Cody Keikos, down there, and he does a wonderful job. So, the season starts tomorrow, as we are certainly looking forward to that. First of 3 broadcasts in December. Muskegon Heights tomorrow. Be on air about 6:50 right in that area. Tip is scheduled for 7:15. The next Saturday, Catholic Central at Kelvin University. Friday the 15th at home versus Kennewa Hills. And the first league games at Forest Hills Northern on January 5th. That'll be a Friday, and that's where districts will be played this year at Forest Hills Northern. We'll have all those games for you on the Northview Wildcats broadcast YouTube page. Find the links on the Northview Wildcats broadcast Facebook page and on my X feed at Mike Diebold 5. Until tomorrow at about 6:50 or so, Muskegon Heights at Northview. Stay safe and healthy, and let the season begin. And as always, go Wildcats.